He woke up slowly, the first rays of the alien sun slipping through the translucent canopy above. His head ached, and the unfamiliar smell of sweet, metallic flowers made him sit up with a groan. For a moment he thought he was dreaming, but the warmth beside him told him otherwise. She was there, lying next to him, her hair like shimmering threads of silver flowing over the smooth, patterned skin of her shoulders. He blinked. She blinked back, her large, violet eyes widening in surprise. "Oh, you're awake," she said softly, her voice musical yet foreign. She pulled the thin cover around her, sitting upright. "I didn't think you would." He rubbed his temples. Where are we?" His voice was rough from sleep. "The chamber," she said, glancing around. The walls glowed faintly, changing color like liquid sunlight. "This is where my tribe keeps their guests, or their challengers," he frowned. "Challengers," her expression faltered. "I mean you. There are rules here, rules humans don't understand." He looked down at himself. His uniform was torn and dirt-stained, his helmet nowhere in sight. Memories from the previous night were hazy, a jumble of the shuttle's crash, the forest outside, and her hand reaching for him. "I remember the crash," he said. We escaped the shuttle." "Yes," she replied, her tone calm but serious. "Barely. You saved me." He swallowed. "I saved you." "You did," she said simply. "But that's not the problem." She stood, her movements graceful and careful. "The problem is the dawn. The warriors will come. They have been waiting for you for this." She hesitated. "For the wedding." His stomach dropped. Wedding. To her and at dawn. I think there's been a mistake," he stammered, sitting up fully now. His mind raced. This was no ordinary alien culture. He had read about strange rituals and ancient traditions, but nothing that involved being woken beside the captain's daughter for a forced wedding. "It is no mistake," she said, though her voice had a hint of worry. "My father, the captain, arranged this. The tribe expects it." "But I do not want it." He stared at her. "You do." Her eyes glistened, and for a moment he thought he saw fear. I never asked for this, but to refuse is dangerous. You must be ready." He took a deep breath. Humans had faced impossible odds before: hostile worlds, alien predators, treacherous politics. He had survived on ingenuity, courage, and quick thinking. But this, waking up next to someone, facing an unknown culture, and now a wedding, that was surreal. "Then we figure it out," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Together." She looked at him, her expression softening slightly. "You are brave or foolish." "Maybe a little of both," he admitted. She smiled faintly and led him out of the chamber. The corridor outside was lined with glowing vines, each one pulsing in a slow rhythm, like the heartbeat of the planet itself. The air smelled sweet, alive, and alien, carrying whispers of distant waterfalls and unseen creatures. As they walked, he noticed the signs of life everywhere: small, luminescent animals darting through the trees, birds with crystal feathers singing in harmony, and massive plants that seemed to move subtly, as if breathing. Every step felt like walking in a dream, yet danger lingered in the beauty. "Stay close," she whispered. "The warriors will come soon. My people are honorable, but they follow tradition, and today tradition expects a wedding." He nodded, trying to match her calm. "What do I do?" "You must show respect. You must show worth. You must survive the trials if you want to live, and if you want me to live free." He swallowed hard. "Trials?" she nodded. "Our wedding is not simple. You must prove yourself to the tribe. They will test your strength, your courage, your mind. If you pass, they accept you. If you fail," her voice trailed off. The meaning was clear. He tightened his jaw. Humans were adaptable. They could improvise, strategize, and survive. He had faced enemies far deadlier than alien warriors. And somehow, he had a feeling that being human would make him unpredictable, perhaps even admired. They reached a large clearing where the tribe had gathered. The warriors were imposing, tall and muscular, with skin in shades of blue and green, decorated with intricate tribal markings. Their weapons glinted under the rising sun, and they moved with a disciplined grace that spoke of generations of training. The leader, a massive figure with silver hair like Leora's but streaked with age, stepped forward. His eyes met the protagonist's, and for a moment silence fell over the assembly. "You are the human," the leader said, his voice deep and resonant. "Do you understand why you are here?" "Yes," the protagonist replied, though he only partly understood. "I am here to prove myself." The leader's eyes narrowed slightly. "Many humans fail. You are fragile, slow, inexperienced, but you carry fire in your spirit." "We shall see if it is enough." Leora stepped beside him. "He is clever, he adapts, he will not fail like others." The warriors murmured among themselves. Some were skeptical, others intrigued. A few even smiled faintly, impressed by her confidence. The first trial was revealed, a test of strength and agility. A massive, twisted obstacle course stretched across the clearing, with ropes, swinging platforms, and walls carved from living wood. Some of the platforms floated in the air, moving unpredictably, testing balance and reflexes. "Humans are not known for climbing," one warrior said under his breath. The protagonist ignored him. He had climbed cliffs, scaled ship hulls, and escaped collapsing tunnels. He had no fear of a challenge, no matter how alien. "Follow my lead," Leora said. She moved ahead with fluid precision, demonstrating the first few obstacles. Her every movement was a blend of grace and power, a perfect mix of strength and control. He studied her, then took a deep breath and ran. His hands found grip on the ropes, his feet landed precisely on the floating platforms, and he leaped with calculated timing. Every instinct, every bit of experience as a human survivor guided him. The warriors watched in silence, slowly realizing that humans were not as weak as they assumed. By the time he reached the end of the course, chest heaving, sweat dripping, the warriors were silent. The leader stepped forward. "Impressive. Humans do have strength in unexpected ways." Leora smiled, pride shining in her eyes. "I told you." The next trial tested intellect and perception. Ancient symbols floated in the air, forming a complex puzzle that shifted every few seconds. The warrior who solved it first would gain favor, proving they were worthy of respect. The protagonist studied the symbols carefully. Patterns emerged, sequences repeated, and he noticed a rhythm. His human mind, used to improvisation and pattern recognition, began to map the symbols, predicting the shifts. He moved quickly, aligning them in the correct sequence before most of the tribe could react. "Clever," the leader said, nodding. "Human wit is sharper than some of ours." Finally came the trial of courage, facing a predator from the planet itself. A massive reptilian creature emerged from the trees, its scales glinting, eyes glowing. It lunged at him, teeth bared, claws ready. Humans had faced predators before. He did not panic. He observed, waited for the opening, and used his agility and understanding of movement to evade, redirect, and finally subdue the beast without killing it. The warriors watched, astonished. The human had survived every trial, not through raw power alone, but through intelligence, strategy, and courage, qualities that resonated deeply with them. The leader finally stepped forward, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You have passed, human. You are worthy of respect." The tribe erupted in cheers, some clapping, others nodding in approval. Leora's eyes shone with relief and admiration. "You see," she said softly, "you are human, unpredictable, adaptable, remarkable." He smiled, exhausted but triumphant. "We humans do have our moments." As the sun rose higher, casting golden light over the vibrant forest, he realized that this was just the beginning. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new dangers, but also new opportunities. And perhaps, just perhaps, humans could leave their mark even here, among the stars. And at the center of it all was Leora, the alien daughter whose trust he had earned, whose respect he had won, and whose friendship, or more, might be the most important thing of all. The sun had barely climbed above the horizon when the human and Leora stood at the edge of the village clearing, watching the warriors prepare for the next stage. The cheers from yesterday's trials still echoed in his mind, but there was no time to rest. Today would be more dangerous. Today, the real test of courage, trust, and adaptability awaited him. Leora glanced at him. The elders have decided. You will face the trial of the forest. It is not about strength or wit, but about survival, judgment, and honor. He raised an eyebrow. Survival again? I thought I passed the tests. She shook her head, her silver hair catching the sunlight. You passed the human tests. The forest will test you differently. It is alive, it watches, it does not forgive mistakes. He nodded, feeling the thrill of a challenge stirring in his chest. Humans thrived in the unknown, and he had learned that courage was more powerful than fear. Still, he could not ignore the tension in her eyes. Come, she said, leading him toward the edge of the forest. The trees here were enormous, their trunks wider than most human buildings, their leaves glowing faintly like lanterns. A low mist hung between the roots, swirling gently around the bases like smoke. Strange creatures peeked from the shadows, their luminous eyes blinking in curiosity. The trial of the forest begins at the first river, she explained. You must reach it before the sun reaches the zenith. The elders will watch. You must prove your judgment as much as your skill. He tightened the straps on his boots, adjusting the pack on his back. What happens if I don't make it? She hesitated. You will fail the trial, but failing is not always death. Sometimes it is learning. He gave her a small nod. Humans always found a way, they adapted, they survived, and he would survive this too. The forest swallowed them almost immediately. The air was thick and humid, rich with the smell of exotic flowers and wet earth. Sounds surrounded him, rustling leaves, distant calls of creatures he had never seen, the low hum of the forest itself, as if it were alive and aware. Stay alert, Leora whispered. The forest watches not only your body but your mind. You cannot pretend to understand it. You must listen. He did, moving carefully over roots and moss-covered stones, stepping lightly but deliberately. Humans had walked through jungles, deserts, and alien terrains before. Observation and patience were key. He could feel the forest shifting around them, small changes in the mist and subtle movements of the glowing flora guiding him forward. After an hour, they reached the first obstacle, a wide chasm with jagged rocks below and a series of vines dangling across the gap. The first warriors waiting on the other side of the chasm shouted instructions, but he ignored them. He had learned that listening too closely to others could be dangerous in a new environment. Go first, Leora urged, her voice calm. He studied the vines. Some were thick, others thin, and the distance between them varied. One misstep could send him plummeting. He took a deep breath and jumped. His hands grabbed the first vine, swinging with careful precision, feeling each movement of the plant as if it were an extension of his own body. The human mind was unpredictable. Where an alien might panic, he calculated. Where an alien might hesitate, he improvised. Step by step, vine by vine, he crossed the chasm, landing lightly on the other side. Leora's eyes widened. You truly are human, unpredictable and clever, he grinned. I try. The next stage of the forest demanded stealth. A pack of shadow predators, creatures the size of a small horse with claws like daggers, patrolled the path ahead. Their eyes glowed faintly red and their movements were silent. Any misstep and they would attack. He crouched low, observing the terrain. Humans had faced predators before, but they had never faced ones like these. Their senses were sharp, but their patterns were not entirely predictable. Using the cover of foliage, he guided Leora along safe paths, leading the predators away with subtle noises and careful misdirection. Your mind works differently, she whispered, watching in amazement. You think in ways my people cannot. That is why you survive. He smiled faintly. It is not thinking you understand, it is adaptation. Hours passed. The forest challenged them at every step, sudden cliffs, hidden sinkholes, aggressive plants with snapping vines, and strange, glowing insects that swarmed when disturbed. Yet every time, the human instinct and quick judgment saved them. Leora began to realize that humans were not fragile, but resilient, resourceful, and incredibly adaptable. By late morning, they reached the river. The elders appeared, standing tall on the opposite bank, their expressions unreadable. "You have reached the river," the head elder said. His voice carried the weight of authority and ancient knowledge. "But reaching it is not enough. You must prove judgment. Take only what the river gives you and leave nothing behind." He studied the river. Its water shimmered, glowing faintly with bioluminescent life. Strange fish swam beneath the surface, and large lily-like plants floated gently. He noticed a current forming near a cluster of rocks. It looked dangerous. One wrong move, and the river could sweep them away. Humans always observed before acting. He found a stable rock, tested it, and then stepped carefully across the river, keeping his balance, adjusting with each movement. He could feel Leora watching him, her trust growing with every calculated step. Halfway across, a creature emerged from the water, long, serpentine, with scales reflecting the sunlight. It lunged toward him. Most beings would have panicked. Humans calculated. He grabbed a nearby branch, using it to redirect the creature's momentum, nudging it harmlessly into the water. He landed on the far bank safely, heart pounding. The elders watched, nodding. "You are clever," the head elder said. "You act with precision, not with strength alone." "That is judgment." Leora ran to him, relief clear in her expression. "You passed the trial. You are ready for the final challenge, the heart of the forest. There, your courage will be tested like never before." They moved deeper into the forest. The trees grew taller, the air heavier, and a sense of ancient power pressed down on them. Leora explained that the heart of the forest was sacred, a place where no human had ever ventured. Legends said it could sense fear, greed, and dishonesty, and it would react accordingly. As they approached, a low hum filled the air. The ground beneath them began to glow, revealing intricate patterns that pulsed in response to their presence. Leora stopped. "Here is where you must prove yourself fully. The forest will challenge your courage, your mind, and your heart. Only then will the elders accept you." The first test came almost immediately. A massive creature, taller than any tree, emerged. Its body was covered in living moss and vines, its eyes glowing like molten gold. It roared, and the sound shook the very ground. Most would have fled, but he stood his ground, studying it. Humans did not always fight with weapons. Sometimes they fought with courage, presence, and understanding. The creature lunged, but he did not flinch. Instead, he moved calmly, avoiding its strikes and observing its behavior. He noticed patterns in its movements and the way the forest seemed to support it. Using only his body and instinct, he sidestepped, ducked, and finally led it toward a natural trap, a deep, moss-covered pit. The creature fell in harmlessly, and the forest seemed to respond, pulsing with approval. Leora gasped. You understand it. You respect it. That is more than strength. That is courage." The final part of the trial demanded a choice. Before them lay two paths, one safe but slow, the other risky but direct. A creature similar to the one before blocked the risky path, its eyes fixed on them. The forest itself seemed to hold its breath. Humans weighed risks quickly. He looked at Leora. "We take the risk," he said, "but we do it together." She nodded. "I trust you." They moved together, every step synchronized, every movement calculated. The creature attacked, but they dodged, using the terrain to their advantage. With courage, trust, and ingenuity, they reached the end of the path, where the forest opened into a wide clearing, bathed in golden light. The elders were waiting. "You have faced fear," the head elder said. "You have shown judgment and courage. You have respected the forest and each other. You are worthy." Leora ran to him, throwing her arms around him. "You did it. The forest, it accepts you." He laughed, relief flooding through him. "Humans do have a way of surprising everyone." The elders nodded. The trials are complete. The human is honored. Tomorrow, the dawn will bring the ceremony, but now it is clear. You are not only worthy of respect, but of trust. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the glowing forest, he realized something profound. Humans were not just survivors. They were adaptable, courageous, clever, and capable of understanding worlds that seemed impossible. And in doing so, they could form bonds stronger than fear, stronger than tradition. Leora looked at him, her eyes reflecting the forest's light. "Tomorrow will be different," she said softly. "But tonight we rest. You have earned it." He smiled, feeling the weight of the day lift. Humans always found a way, and together they could face anything. The forest had tested them, but it had also taught them, and shown that even in a world so alien, courage, trust, and adaptability were universal. And as night fell, the glowing forest around them, he understood something vital. Being human was not a weakness. It was a strength unlike any other, one that could change the hearts of even the oldest, wisest tribes in the galaxy. Dawn broke over the alien forest, spilling golden light through the towering trees. Mist swirled lazily along the ground, making the clearing where the ceremony would take place shimmer like a dream. The human and Leora stood side by side, watching the warriors assemble. Their earlier trials had earned him respect, but today's event would test not only their courage and strength, but their hearts. The warriors arranged themselves in a circle around the ceremonial platform, their weapons glinting in the soft sunlight. Leora's father, the captain, stood at the center, his silver hair gleaming. His eyes, though stern, held pride. He glanced at the human and nodded slightly, acknowledging his victories in the forest trials. "You have proven yourself," the captain said, his deep voice echoing across the clearing. "But the final test is before you. Today, the union is not just of two individuals. It is a bond between worlds, between traditions, and between trust. Will you honor that bond?" The human swallowed but nodded firmly. "I will." Leora stepped closer to him, her hand brushing against his. "We do this together," she whispered. The elders began the ceremony. Music rose from the forest itself, a harmony of wind through leaves, birdsong, and the soft hum of bioluminescent plants. The human looked around, marveling at the intricate beauty of it all. Every detail of the ritual reflected respect, history, and careful balance with the natural world. Humans could appreciate that. Humans could adapt to it. And humans could, sometimes, find ways to improve it. Suddenly, a loud roar shattered the serenity. From the tree line, a rival tribe emerged, their warriors armed and aggressive. They had come to claim Leora and her people, believing the ceremony was an opportunity to assert dominance. The clearing erupted into tension. The rival leader, a massive figure with green-tinted skin and sharp eyes, stepped forward. "This union is not yours to decide. Your human companion has no right to interfere." Leora's father's expression darkened. "They seek conflict," he said. "But humans fight differently. They think differently. They do not rely on brute force alone." The human stepped forward, standing tall despite the fear in the air. Humans had faced impossible odds before, and they thrived on creativity, strategy, and courage. He scanned the rival warriors, noticing their formations, their weaknesses, and their likely first moves. He raised his hand. "Stop! We don't have to fight blindly. Let's do this smartly. Follow me." Leora's eyes widened, pride and trust shining. "Your way?" "Always," he said. The human quickly assessed the terrain. The ceremonial clearing was circular, open, but the surrounding forest offered cover, higher ground, and natural traps. Using ropes, vines, and logs from nearby, he and Leora's tribe set up a series of clever defenses. They didn't rely on overwhelming strength, but on strategy, positioning, and adaptability, human qualities that were often underestimated. When the rival tribe charged, expecting a straightforward battle, they were met with unexpected obstacles. Vine traps slowed their advance. Logs blocked paths. Hidden pits made them stumble. The human moved swiftly among the defenders, shouting instructions and adjusting strategies in real time. Every move combined human ingenuity with the alien warrior's strength, creating a synergy neither side had anticipated. He noticed a group of rival warriors attempting to flank from the left. "Liara," he called, "take the eastern ridge with your warriors. Cut them off." She nodded, understanding instantly. Humans had a way of seeing patterns others missed. With precise timing, she led a small group, appearing suddenly behind the flanking warriors. Their surprise caused hesitation, giving the humans' group the advantage. A massive rival warrior lunged at him with a spear. The human sidestepped, grabbed a vine and swung to higher ground. From there he could see the battlefield clearly. Using simple signals and movements, he coordinated the defense, directing Liara's tribe with efficiency that made even the elders admire him. Humans were clever. Humans adapted. Humans did not panic. That was the lesson the rival tribe quickly learned. The battle continued, tense and chaotic, yet controlled. Every action of the human was measured. He used the environment, trees, rocks, and even the flowing river nearby, to neutralize threats without causing unnecessary harm. By mid-morning, the rival tribe's momentum had faltered. Their warriors were exhausted, confused, and increasingly disoriented. The rival leader roared, furious. "Impossible! How can one human change everything?" The human met his gaze steadily. "It's not just me. It's teamwork, trust, and thinking differently. Humans don't always follow the expected rules. That is our strength." Finally, the rival leader signaled retreat. His warriors hesitated, but seeing their advantage lost and their flanks exposed, they fled into the forest, leaving the ceremonial clearing in peace. The elders watched in silence for a moment, then erupted into approval. Liara's father placed a hand on the human's shoulder. "You have done more than survive," he said. "You have honored us, saved our people, and proved that humans can be allies of the highest order." Liara ran to the human, throwing her arms around him. "You did it." "You were amazing," he laughed, exhausted but exhilarated. "Humans do have their moments," he said, echoing his words from the forest trials. The ceremony resumed. The rival tribe was gone, the clearing bathed in morning light, and the human stood beside Liara, feeling the weight of respect and trust from the tribe. The elders chanted blessings, invoking the spirits of the forest, the river, and the stars. Liara's father placed a ceremonial sash around the human's shoulders. It was a symbol not only of the wedding but of acceptance, courage, and honor. Liara smiled, her violet eyes shining. "You belong here now," she said softly. He glanced at her, heart full. "I've always belonged wherever humans make a mark," he said, "and I think this place might just be one of those marks." The warriors cheered, the forest itself seeming to hum in approval. The human felt a deep sense of connection, not just to Liara, but to the planet, the tribe, and the new understanding he had forged. Humans were not the strongest by muscle alone, but by mind, courage, and heart. That combination had saved them, earned them respect, and united worlds. As the sun climbed higher, the ceremony reached its peak. Liara's father spoke solemnly. "Today, two beings from different worlds have proven that understanding, trust, and courage are stronger than fear. Let this union be a symbol of what can be achieved when hearts and minds work together." The human and Liara joined hands, looking at each other. The journey had been dangerous, confusing, and full of tests, yet here they were, stronger and united. They had faced fear, challenge, and the unknown, and survived. Humans had once again demonstrated that they were adaptable, clever, and brave. He looked around at the warriors, at the elders, and at the glowing forest. Every step had been a challenge, every decision a test. But humans always found a way, and in doing so, they could inspire even the oldest tribes to see value beyond strength alone. Liara squeezed his hand. "Tomorrow, life will continue as usual, But today we have changed the future." He nodded. "Humans don't just survive. We leave a mark, and today we did that together." The ceremony ended with music rising from the forest again, laughter and cheers blending with the natural sounds of the planet. The human and Leora walked through the clearing, feeling the respect of everyone around them. Every eye acknowledged them, not as outsiders but as equals, as allies, as heroes. As the golden sun bathed the forest, he realized that this adventure was only the beginning. There were countless worlds to explore, countless challenges to face, and countless opportunities for humans to show that courage, intelligence, and adaptability could change even the most rigid traditions. The forest seemed to recognize it too. The trees swayed gently, the rivers sparkled, and the creatures emerged, curious but calm. Everything had watched, tested, and now accepted them. Leora looked up at him, her expression a mixture of relief, pride, and admiration. "You have changed everything," she said softly. He smiled. "Humans have a way of doing that," he replied, "but I couldn't have done it without you." Together, they stood at the edge of the forest, the first light of the new day touching their faces. The human knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead in this forest, on other planets, or among alien civilizations, humans could adapt, survive, and even inspire respect. And with Leora by his side, he felt ready for anything. The forest had tested them. The rivals had challenged them. And the trials had revealed the truth. Humans, clever and courageous, could rise above any obstacle, win trust across worlds, and prove that strength came not just from muscle, but from heart, mind, and determination. And in that moment, as the sun fully rose, he realized that humans were more than explorers, more than survivors. They were capable of leaving a legacy, even on an alien world that seemed impossible to understand. And for the first time, standing beside Leora in the golden light, he felt the quiet certainty that humans together could accomplish anything.